got it.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MANIACITV, man. Today we got the real King Von story documentary, man. So look, last week we reacted to the NBA YoungBoy documentary. Y'all told me I had to check out this King Von one, man. So y'all know how much we rock with King Von on the channel, man. R.I.P. Von. It's crazy. It's already been a little over a month since he passed away. But man, like I said, we got to keep that memory alive, man. King Von, like I said this before, months ago, I said Von was gonna be the one to really take Chicago to the, to new heights in the next 10 years, man. He was gonna take that drill to the next level, man. But man, it's crazy. It's real crazy out here. So we ain't gonna waste no time. No, we gonna get into it right now here on MANIACITV, the real King Von story. Let's get it.
Just got the top from this stripper bitch. She from Cape Key, just bought a Glock with a ruler clip.
Well, don't play with me. Head at the stove. You know how it goes. And took her to the hey. Come on, man.
On November 6, 2020, Davon Bennett, better known as King Von, was pronounced dead from gunshot wounds. This is his story.
Von! Come on.
Picture a no man's land with broken windows, dark abandoned buildings, no law and order. There are carefully demarcated areas controlled by rival bands of armed militia fighting over the rubble. Nearly every night there's sniper fire. It sounds like Beirut, but in fact it's America, a creature of state, local, and federal government, the product of bad politics, failed policy, and official neglect. It exists unseen except by those who live there, a stone's throw away from some of the most valuable real estate in our nation's third largest city.
Chicago.
Davon Bennett grew up in one of the roughest neighborhoods of Southside Chicago, Parkway Gardens, also known as O Block, off of 64th, not 63rd. In the
you gotta he had to remind everybody, man. He had to remind everybody. It's crazy, man. Y'all remember those videos? I don't know if y'all ever seen it, but it used to be a YouTube channel where he used to walk through O Block or something like that. It was like he used to walk through O Block at midnight or something. He had like his camera or something like that, man. I don't know. You could probably find the video still on YouTube, man.
Grew up in one of the roughest neighborhoods of Southside Chicago, Parkway Gardens, also known as O Block, off of 64th, not rough. 63rd. In the Gardens, he was known as Grandson, referring to his relationship with his grandfather, David Barksdale, one of the founders of the Black Disciples.
It started with Larry Hoover. Larry Hoover was a high supreme gangster. David Barksdale was a devil disciple.
Growing up, his life wasn't bad for what
he said. They said his granddad was one of the founders of the BD gang in Chicago. What? Von was born for it then, man. What?
David Barksdale was a devil disciple.
Growing up, his life wasn't bad for what it was. Although he didn't meet his father until 8 years old, due to him being locked up on and off all through his early childhood, his mother and stepdad did their best to make sure he had what he needed. Davon was an A and B student and even enjoyed playing baseball up until around high school. Growing up around poverty and violence in Southside Chicago, it's almost always inevitable to get involved in trouble.
It's easier to go on the block than it is to go to school.
Although he denies ever being part of a gang in his younger years, he admits to taking an interest in the street life.
Man, it's crazy because Von was a good student from what dude's saying, and it's like, man, it's all about your surroundings. Like for me personally, growing up in Westline housing projects, like I never got intertwined in the drug dealing and all that stuff. And I mean, it shows who you really hang out with in the hood, man. It's all peer pressure. I kind of just stayed to myself as a kid, though. I stayed to myself. I ain't really, get involved with nobody in the hood. Like if I was out there, I was out there riding my bike, man. I wasn't messing with nobody, man. It's crazy what peer pressure
in his younger years, he admits to taking an interest in the street life. Davon's father would pass away and his grades would start to slip. He soon turned to crime himself, starting out just stealing bikes and other small things. But at the age of 15, he would catch his first case, unlawful carry of a firearm. Unfortunately, it didn't stop there. He would spend time in juvenile detention twice before the age of 18. Missing out on most of his teenage years, he wouldn't go more than 6 months without finding trouble with the law. At this time, he didn't know these run-ins with the law would be small problems compared to what was coming.
May 29, 2014.
On May 29, 2014, a man by the name of Malcolm Stuckey was sitting on his porch with 2 others during a birthday party. 2 men would approach him with loaded guns and open fire. Although they tried to flee down the street, Malcolm was shot in the head and died on the scene, whereas the 2 others involved were wounded but later survived. Initially only 1 person was arrested for the crime, Michael Wade. But after more evidence rose, Davon would find himself potentially facing 100 years in prison for murder and 2 attempted murder charges. He would spend the next 3.5 years in jail. He would have time to reflect on a lot of things. Meanwhile, he's locked.
It's crazy because he really did say, you know, he spent majority of his teenage years locked up, man. That's crazy. I mean, we knew Von, listen, he wasn't one of them rappers that fabricate these stories, man. He was really out there living that street life, man. And I said this in the NBA YoungBoy documentary, when YoungBoy's grandmother died, and, you know, that's when he kind of turned into a different person. It's the same thing happened for King Von. You know, you could be on the right track, but the second that, you know, somebody that's closest to you that you felt the most love from, when they pass away, man, listen, you gonna become a completely different person now. That's deep.
Next 3.5 years in jail. He would have time to reflect on a lot of things. Meanwhile, he's locked up. People he's known since a kid would start to blow up off rapping. Lil Durk and G Herbo's careers were on the rise.
Chicago
Although he didn't know
hot.
whether he'd ever be free again, he did take inspiration from what they were doing on the outside.
Still red
He
hot.
began freestyling and beatboxing in jail to pass time because there was nothing else to do. Taking after his grandfather's nickname, King David, he would get the nickname King Von from his cellmates who knew David, and they said the way he handled himself in the street reminded them of him. In 2017, after spending 3.5 long years in jail, his trial would only last 5 days. Michael Wade, who worked with the police trying to reduce his sentence, was given 20 years, while Davon, who didn't cooperate, would be acquitted of all charges, and 4 hours later, released back into civilian life.
Wow, man, listen, you can't say that ain't the most G way to get out of prison, man. Listen, you can't say that ain't the most thug way to get out, man. Come on. They said he ain't cooperated nothing. They let him out though. Come on, man. That's deep.
Trying to reduce his sentence, was given 20 years, while Davon, who didn't cooperate, would be acquitted of all charges, and 4 hours later, released back into civilian
Back to
life.
O Block.
Wasting no time after being released, he began writing his first raps. He drew inspiration from urban novels as well as his own past experiences to write his first songs. Although spending so much time in and out of jail was something he never wanted to experience again, he admits it helped shape the person he was and made rapping about it easier. In late 2018, he began releasing music after linking back up with the now superstar Lil Durk. Lil Durk would co-sign his music from the beginning, where he even uploaded his earliest songs on his own YouTube channel to help bring attention to Von's music. After the release of a few songs, he had already begun to build a fan base. Drill music peaked between 2010 and 2015 or so, and with the popularity of it decreasing over recent years, King Von's captivating way of telling just about any story over a drill beat with what looked like...
I said this before, man. I can't remember what video I said it in, man, but I was like, man, drill music, it was red hot. When it started, when it jumped off, I was in 12th grade. It was 2012. That's when, you know, Chief Keef and everybody, you know, man, listen, everybody from Chief Keef even to, you know, they rival side to P. Rico and, you know, everybody over there, man, I was like, man, drill's red hot. And then, you know, when 2015 came, that's when Lil Durk was kind of doing that Days Low stuff. And, you know, it started changing. It really started changing. Lil J got locked up. Man, a lot of stuff started changing. And, you know, for the longest time, everybody, I remember people used to say at that time, it was like, man, drill ain't the same. It ain't the same no more, man. Everybody either locked up or dead, or they turn into something else now. Man, I don't know, man. And then King Von, that's why I said so many times he was the new face of drill, man, because he honestly was. He brought that shit back.
King Von's captivating way of telling just about any story over a drill beat with what looked like no effort at all would bring a refreshing and much needed new style to the drill scene.
Facts.
His early single Problems had brought him some traction, but just a few months later, on the last day of 2018, he would drop his single Crazy Story, which told the story of a robbery turned shootout, and his life would change forever.
The best series ever,
This song
man.
would blow up almost instantaneously. Childhood friend and co-signer Lil Durk wasted no time hopping on the part 2 of the song after signing him to his Only the Family label. To further his career and by personal
It's like Meek Mill is one of the greatest storytellers in the game too. And if we talking about the new school, man, King Von had that, man. You know, Crazy Story. You listen to a lot of King Von songs. It doesn't even have to be the Crazy Story series. You listen to like even on his Welcome to O Block tape, man. You listen to Armed and Dangerous. You listen to Wayne's story, man. Other tracks too. He stayed telling one hell of a story in every single song.
After signing him to his Only the Family label. To further his career and by personal choice, he would move out of Chicago and relocate to Atlanta. In 2018, he dropped his first official mixtape titled Grandson, which featured more collabs with Lil Durk and Book of 600. But with fame and fortune almost always comes beef. It seems trouble was something that always found its way back into Von's life, in one form or another.
Hey, gang.
Yeah.
I'll stop playing with the odds though, bro, for real. You know that shit be hurting for real.
Yeah, fuck them.
It seemed like every few months or so, Von found himself in a debacle online with another rapper. I mean, how many times a week do we see a rapper dissing another rapper? In today's world, we see this shit all the time, especially online. And in most cases, nothing ever happens. In 2020, Von would release 2 more projects, LaVon James, and later Welcome to O Block. The tape would peak at number 63 on the Hot 100, which is in fact very ironic. By then he had gained so much popularity, his tapes would feature big artists from all over. He was just beginning to be solidified in the rap game. And then...
And GBI investigators still here on scene. This shooting made national headlines as officials confirmed one of the 3 people shot and killed was rapper King Von from Chicago, who was here last night with friends.
What started as a fight...
Man, I'm gonna let this ride out, and I got something to say.
outside of an Atlanta hookah lounge would turn into King Von's fatal last moments. It has since surfaced that the entourage of people behind the shooting of Von are associated with the rapper Quando Rondo. While it's nearly impossible to figure out if King Von and Quando Rondo had beef of their own, they clearly ran with 2 different circles. Von was signed to Durk, and Quando was signed to NBA Youngboy. Because they were so close to these more experienced rappers, it's possible that the beef between Von and Rondo was actually tied to the relationships with Lil Durk and Youngboy. Although it was never really confirmed, people did believe that Von and NBA Youngboy had some type of issue with each other, after Von posted a picture of Youngboy's ex-girlfriend. Regardless of the reason why this all started, the truth is nobody deserves to die at such a young age. Von was just getting started. It's actually crazy to think about the fact that we won't be able to see what his full potential was. But one thing is for sure, music doesn't die, and his footprint will remain.
What I was gonna say, you know, I seen when King Von first passed away, a lot of people, I saw all the comments and everything of people saying, you know, you get what you put in life. And for me, like, everybody was like, well, you know, he did this, he did dirt, and it came back on him and all this stuff. And I'm gonna be 100% real with y'all. The way I thought about it when King Von passed away, for like that week after that, I could not stop thinking about it. And I wasn't, my thoughts on it were, you know, I didn't look at it as, you know, he did this in his life and it came back on him. I looked at it as, man, you know, how could you have literally everything, man? You know, you on one of the hottest labels in the game. You know, you putting out, you one of the most talked about in the rap game. You know, you just released the album. You got all this money. Everything's going your way. And just like that, it's all taken away from you over something that could have been avoided. And it's just crazy how life worked, man, because I'm pretty sure that night he probably didn't even expect that was going to be his last night. The week before that, when they were celebrating Welcome to O Block being released, he probably didn't even know in his mind 1 week later from that release party that he would be dead. It's crazy, man. And, you know, and everybody, you know, and I even covered it so many times on this channel. A lot of us always thought, you know, him and NBA Youngboy had problems because of the subliminals, you know, on the internet and everything, man. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like this whole situation, everything could have been avoided. You know, it was too many variables that came into play that it just, I don't know, man. I don't know what else to say. I'm getting kind of tongue tied here, but man, King Von, RP King Von, and like Published X said, you know, we never really got to see his full potential. And man, I don't know. I really don't even know what else to say. It was most definitely a great documentary though. And Oh, shout out to Publish X, because every single one of his documentaries, dog, it made me want to grab a little bag of popcorn, man. Listen, they put together amazingly. Link down below in the description to this video. Y'all check out his other documentaries. Drop some more documentaries if y'all want me to get to some more of them. I saw he got a Pop Smoke one. He got a few other ones on there. If y'all new to the channel, y'all rock with me. Want daily reaction videos, man, hit that subscribe button for me. Until the next video, I'll see y'all then. Thank you for watching Maniaci TV. I'm out.
I ain't gotta do too much. I swear that these niggas, they be doing too much. I ain't gotta